Hello and welcome to the Forgotten Games Director's Cut for our Masterclass special. If you haven't already seen the episode that this Director's Cut pertains to, you can find it on the screen here, and I recommend you watching it first. However, if you have, please enjoy the following 30 to 40 minutes of our thoughts, ideas, and discussions on the commanders.
So, next up we have Annie.
From League of Legends.
It's funny that they're both little girls, only I don't think she is as pyromaniac as Annie from League of Legends. This one is actually smart.
So the first one is the Wise No. It adds 150 might, which is basically half a skill bar, 4,000 probably more defense, and 1,000 attack to allies within a circular area. Effects last for 9 seconds. That's a pretty big buff, isn't it?
If you boost her speed somehow, or maybe not even, you can almost permanently keep that active.
That is true. Hang on, let's see the max skills and just see how potent it is. She's really good in the training grounds as well. I mean, friendship. Well, she also has awakening, and it's another seg, basically. Total attack, total defense. So anyway, Annie, her skills. The actual might doesn't change. It's in green, so an increase of the strategy will increase it, but 150 might, 6,850 defense, and 1,300 attack for 9 seconds. That's a very big boost, I have to say, for most people.
Yes, and her strategy is 800-ish.
Her max strategy is 1,200.
Oh, yeah.
So while you can't boost it that much, you can still boost it 12, 15% with Genie, if you have it in the back row. Now, she has low prowess and command, so it is a trade-off. But just on her own, the 6,000 defense on 4 characters means you can probably do 2 tanks in one go. It's quite a substantial boost, because you can nearly always have it active. The encyclopedic knowledge, victories assured, secrets of war shared among allies, adds 150 to strategy of all allies for 15 seconds at the start of battle. That can be really potent for tanks at the start. 150 can be up to 50% of their abilities, so you don't really need. You can basically replace Genie with her.
Definitely, and you know what the great thing is? If we talk about she's a spear, that is perfect, because she will have, against rebel leaders, she will have Arslan, she will have Julian, she will have all the commanders that have insane active skills. She boosts that strategy 3 times.
Yeah, you basically, she's Genie, but better. Genie does increase more overall for longer, so in the really long fights, Genie might come in ahead. But like, if you want cavalry, go for Genie. If you want spears, go for Annie. Now we just need an infantry buffer. We have Tyrion, but Tyrion needs a buff because it's only like 50 to all abilities. Like, you double Tyrion's abilities, and then you have 1 of each. It's perfect. The Prayers of the Seven, Praise to the Warrior and the Smith, adds 7,000 to defense and 150 to strategy for 6 seconds. Triggers once every 15 seconds. So it's not a lot, but that defense does bring her within tanking range, and the extra strategy is just hers, so it's okay. But erudite, which is a lovely word, it's worth 24 points in Scrabble, gives 150 strategy to all allies as a base. So at the start, for 15 seconds, you're looking at 300 strategy added, which is doubling the tanks. It's more than Genie gives. It does fall off later, but that initial burst might be just what you need to gain an advantage in the fights.
So she's a strategy buffer, mainly, most of all.
Yeah, and it should be said that at Grey, she still increases the might by nearly the same amount on strategy. Like, you're missing on 8 strategy overall, and a couple of 1,000 defense, if that. So at Grey, she's nearly as good as she is Gold. The problem is she doesn't have any defense, health, and attack. Though it's her individual stats get buffed, her skills don't get buffed that much when you upgrade her from Grey.
So that makes her a little bit more viable in the training grounds, because then often your backline actually could really benefit from defense.
Yeah, it's true. The problem is, she does do more. She does have a higher strategy buff than Genie, but only in the first 15 seconds. And in the first 15 seconds, your back row isn't going to get their ability off. Like it takes them 15 seconds to close the distance, charge up the abilities, then be able to use it. And by then, you're only looking at 150 buff instead of Genie's 200. Oh no, it's the same strategy. Same buff as Genie, 150. So she's got a bigger buff. She's a better buffer individually. Now she doesn't have. She's not as easy to upgrade, and she doesn't have a heal, which is why Genie can really be useful.
I would go Weirwood 2, Training Ground 3, Rebel Leaders 4, something like that.
Yeah, that makes. I can see that working. With Weirwood, she doesn't have the heals or the extra attack buffs. It's just the strategy. Now, while skills are useful, it's the opportunity cost. Training Grounds, a lot of damage is done by skills, so by buffing those, they're even stronger, and you increase survivability with the defense, which can make a difference because it's very quick to proc. Rebel Leaders, it's just the insane skill damage, and it's a spear hero, so it can be thrown in spear formations quite easily when Genie is a lot weaker.
Yeah, and she will buff her own attack also a little bit when doing her active. Not too much. She has a really low damage output. I wouldn't give it more than 1.
It's a 1, yeah. Her base attack is just too low to justify anything higher than that.
I would go 5 support though. It's all support.
It is all support, yeah. And it's might. I'd say maybe 4 because her skills aren't always active and it is only on defense. Like she has a buff. She has a buff that is active for 6 seconds every 15, so only a third of the time. And she has one that's only active for 15 seconds at the start of battle.
True, but
now, the buffs are really good, but then only 2 of them are always active.
Her active will be pretty much always active.
True, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, 4, 5... adds the 150 to might. It's really... No, 5. I was thinking along the lines of strategy defense. I wasn't really focusing on the might, and then I thought about it a bit. Crowd controls are 0.
Crowd controls 0, sorry. And skills are maybe 3 or 4.
I'd say there's nothing groundbreaking in the skills. There's a lot of it directed to strategy. There's some duplication. They're not always active. They're pretty good. They're 3, like a high 3, I'd say.
Very well. Okay, combat advancements. Spearman health 30. Total defense 15. Total attack 15.
I think it's a 4 for combat.
It's a bit limited.
It is a bit limited. It favors spearman formation, but it is total attack 15, total defense 15. So that's a double. Those 2 are worth 3 on their own, and then spearman health. So there's no overlap. You've got a standard spearman health extra for 4.
Friendship 10 quality, 3 combat rate. You say friendship is good. I say not for the books.
I say the friendship is good for free-to-play players. If you manage to get it in the recent summer event, it's worth 4% of my total combat rate. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's there.
Yeah, but I have so many book commanders
giving
combat rate.
Yeah, I say it's a 3.
3 you can.
Yeah. Because it has overall quality of 10, and 3 combat rate. Now, the books are a pain, but the books aren't rare for everybody. Just for those who have bought all the commanders. So I say a 3 is pretty respectable there. She's a very high-scoring character, actually. 21, no, 25. I noticed that the newest commanders tend to score a bit higher.
Yeah. Well, Theon is old.
Theon's bullshit, that's what he is.
Or Arya is old. But they are consistently scoring high. So now we have Uma. And she likes her insects. It reminds me a little bit of Naruto. There was like this guy who also uses insects.
Was it Shino Arumba something?
Probably.
Arumba.
So, scavenger insects reduces defense of a single enemy target by 3,380 and absorbs the target's health. Target takes 3,000 damage every second, while recover 3,000 health every second for 5 seconds, while you recover. So this is
So
like...
it's a 10,000 vampiric drain, basically, plus 3,000 defense reduction.
Well, 5 seconds, so it's going to be 15,000.
Oh, 15,000, yeah. Sorry, I was going with my stats when I was doing calculations. So plus 3,000 defense down. 15,000 is quite a lot to change.
That is 1/3 of Robert's skill on a single target. Well, I mean, Robert does 1/3. So he just does the damage. So that's a very, very good tank killer also, I think. That makes her also good in combat, frontline, I think. What's her defense? 6,000 defense, 45,000 health. Oh, she's a frontline. On green.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. That makes her better than Latsker in survivability.
It is another one of the nearly... Oh my god, what the hell is happening, commanders? What's the next skills?
Body feeding. Recovers 4,194 health when an enemy unit dies. So that's gonna be more of a weirwood aim thing. And, of course, Training Ground will also have a plus on that.
Yeah, it's very minor, but it's there.
Now, the next one, Insect Queen Intimidation, is heavily overpowered. 60% chance to deal 5,033 damage to all enemies when taking skill damage. That's going to be massive in the weirwood, but it's also going to be massive in the Training Grounds. Once
that's 5,000 to everybody, and it's a 60% chance, which means 1 out of 2 it's probably definitely going to happen to all enemies.
And then Regretful Farewell. Uma gains 5,352 defense for every ally defeated. Effect lasts until the end of the round. That's also
extra,
so
that's
overpowered.
extra 50% defense. She can get over 30,000 defense at the end, if not more.
All she is aimed towards the perfect tank in the Training Ground, and I'm almost already aiming her towards 5 points in the Training Ground.
You know what's even worse, Reaper? These skills are already quite impressive. Look at the amount of strategy she has.
That's really low. 300-ish.
300 at blue. At gold, it's going to be 400, maybe a bit more. Pair her with a gold Marjorie.
Or Jeanne.
Pair her with a gold Marjorie. That will double her strategy, meaning that her skills, everything in green, will be doubled. So you're talking 6,000 defense reduction, 30,000 vampirism, recover 10,000 health, deal 10,000 damage to everybody whenever she takes skill damage. Increase defense by 10,000 for every ally defeated. So if you have, for example, if you run Uma and then behind her Marjorie against an infantry commander, like you have the tank, you have the buff, both spear, extra damage, and that's an insane combo.
Yeah. So, Weirwood.
Weirwood, you're right, like 4?
Yeah. I'm actually not going to the Training Ground with 5. Because she should have survived at that blue. If I can't proc her once before she dies on whatever I put her on blue, then I'm already a little bit hesitant. I think what she's
gold.
Maybe, yeah, but I think what she's missing, unlike many of the other commanders like Zag and Kevin and Chris, some extra defense in her skills. So she gets she gets murdered.
Yeah, she does gain all that defense and more if another ally dies first. So you need to position her well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed when you were running, but whenever she took skill damage, like you did see the enemy get blasted.
Yeah.
Everybody took the extra damage.
But it's a weakness. You have to calculate in there, so she can't face...
It is a weakness. I think it will be a lot better at max level. Because, okay, let's be honest, blue is never going to be the best out there.
Except Simon. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, Simon's not taking damage.
True. But, okay, let's just say Marjorie. Marjorie has more survivability on grey because she... Well, you put her on grey in front as well.
True, but Uma is a free commander. I'm saying 3 or 4 on the training grounds.
I'm going for 4.
Same as I would. 4? Yeah,
Because
okay.
I think she's insane. She's like the reverse of Arya. When everything goes to shit, she's just one-shotting, and in this case, she's just like feel nothing.
She'll probably be one of the only people that, if it came to Uma Arya after the entire party's been wiped, Uma may survive for a little bit.
Yeah, especially if she can keep proccing her skills with her heal bonus and everything, she'll just heal up right away, and she have two high
but
defense.
she'll still die against Arya because of its infantry against spear. But it'll be a difficult fight.
For now, it's 4. I'll run additional tests with her. Let's just go to rebel leaders now, and I think then
It's a 1.
it's a 1. It's nothing.
Yeah. The drain can be good, but overall it's only 15,000 damage. Her base attack is low. Sure, she reduces the defense, but it's just not good enough to replace a damage dealer with.
Yeah. Okay, for damage output, I kind of want to... Okay, she has a very low base attack. I kind of want to give her 1 point for her active skill.
Yeah.
And I want to give her 2 points for the insect screen intimidation, because she can blast everyone.
That's true. Again, the problem with rebel leaders is only 1 target, so I think 2 for damage is reasonable.
Well, I gave her 3, but... Because I gave her 2 extra points for insect screen intimidation, because it has no cooldown. So if if 6 enemies at the same time gonna blast, use skills which do damage, or even worse, if someone does a burn effect on her, she's gonna blast everyone to death right away.
It's true, and it's because it's 60%. It'll be about 15 to 20,000 each time at gold. Yeah, that probably gives her 3. 15 to 20,000 damage to everyone. Yeah.
I want to see if a beret or so hits her. I want to see what happens. Because if she starts taking burn damage, or if a robot hits her, she's gonna... Or even like the Wayward Memories. When she gets constant damage, would that work? Can we? Is that still active, Wayward Memories?
No.
Fucking bitch. Sorry, I cut that out. Because then the last episode where the last chapter where O'Bean starts blasting everyone non-stop.
Yeah, no, that's not skill damage. That's normal damage.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, skill damage is ability. And while it's useful in the Wayward Memories, when the enemy has over 200,000 hit points, you're not going to do much. The bigger use she had, actually, for me, was the defense reduction on the single target.
Oh, that's there as well.
Like getting rid of 3,000 defense on Seg, and then meaning all the damage dealers do more. Like, that was quite useful. But support doesn't really have any support, does she?
No.
No, so support's a 0. Crowd control...
Well, she does reduce the defense of 1.
She does, but that's only worth 1.
Yeah.
All her abilities are self-centric. Skills, I say 4.
Yeah, at least 4. Because I think when it comes to skills, we also calculate points for when she does something to herself, like boost herself, etc. So it's like damage support is helping another, crowd control is reducing the enemy, and skills is also helping yourself. Will be bonus rewarded in skills, so that's the whole concept of it. So 4. Okay. Combat advancement. We have a spearman attack of 30%, so that's less than Latskarin. We have enemy cavalry health reduction 15%, and army enemy defense reduction 10%. So the stats are relatively low.
Say 3 for combat.
Yeah.
Spearman attack, that's one of the best ones for spears. The enemy cavalry health is okay for 15, but you'd rather have 30% cavalry health yourself than 15 down on the enemy. And enemy army defense does affect everything, which is okay. So you're talking like 20% sort of. I know that's not how percentages work, but 20% over on the whole formation because it's 10 front, 10 back. But again, it's not even up to the 30. So 3 on combat, 0 on city.
Okay, she loves dessert again. Oh, I have like 70 commanders needing dessert right now. That's a bit over the top, but overall quality of 7, aptitude of 4, combat rate of 3. So I would not give her more than 2.
Yeah, it's definitely a 2 because of the combat rate. I mean, she's a commander I've really been using or upgrading a lot because of the combat rate alone. But it's just not good enough to warrant a 3, so it's a 2.
Okay, that's a 2 then for you. I want to have her at gold. I love it. I love to try her out on several things. I think she's gonna do really well in the training ground. But it's gonna be a little bit more situational. Wayward's gonna be interesting as well.
Yeah, this new wave with Simon, with Uma, with Enzo, it's going to completely revolutionize the training grounds once more people get them to gold.
Yeah, and it's important. I think somebody's really been doing their homework on making sure you don't always have the same formations in the training ground, etc., or the weirwood, and give people much more room to modify and try out new tactics, which work even better if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, even with this, I mean, the thing is that with these new commanders, you do need to pair them, and they're reliant on certain combos working. But when they do, they're really strong. But it doesn't discount the old formations. Like, you're still going to use Arya. If you use Garou and Arslan, you can basically wipe any infantry tank, and if the enemy's formation depends on that infantry tank, they're down.
True.
So there's a bit more flexibility. I can see there's more things working.
So that's 22 points. Not bad. Wayward, I never liked her too much in the Waywoods. Barely used her even.
Yeah, I've never used her much. She deals damage in a straight line. She does have a damage reduction and control resilience, but it only lasts for 15 seconds. I'd say that...
Well, she is the commander in the very last Wayward Memories, where Obene starts shooting in the back, because of her heal bonus, of course. And because she's female and because she's infantry, and you needed all that. And she does have some extra, a lot of extra damage reduction and control resilience for 15 seconds at the start of the battle.
It's a good defensive for the start. I mean, Wayward battles really only last, well, not that much for 15 seconds. She's very good with the... Yeah, she is 48, so she's okay with a healer behind her. It's an option, but she's missing crowd control, so do you think 2 or a 3?
In Weirwoods, no, not higher than 2.
2?
Definitely.
2, yeah.
I would almost push it in the direction of 1 even.
She has a line attack which can attack the back. She has a stun resist and a damage reduction. She can reflect damage from the person behind again, and she gets more defense. I think it's a 2. I mean, you can use her. That's the point.
Yeah.
She has more abilities than, say, who do we give for 1 in the Weirwood?
Robert?
Yeah. Yeah, she has 2 in the Weirwood. Training grounds...
Yeah, you don't have a healer. 1 or 2, no more.
Yeah, it depends. If you get lucky, she can be a 2. So we'll put 2, but if she ends up too high score overall, we'll knock her down to 1. Rebel leaders, not great.
Well, I would give her 1 because early, if you have her as tank, it's just fine. It's doing fine. She has a high, decent attack.
Yeah, 1. She's okay, but there are a lot better tanks out there if you need a tank.
Yeah, and same for damage output.
Damage output, yeah, it's a 1. She has a line attack, but that's not great. Support.
She's not going to get high.
No, 0. Yeah. Crowd control.
0.
We got nothing. 0. Oof. Skills.
Yeah, we could squeeze 2 just because she has so much early defense.
But... yeah, she keeps them alive for 15 seconds and she falls off. She has some damage. I think we got to put 2 there. It just depends on her reduction. She has 15% chance of reflecting damage. And the main thing is she has a low strategy. So that can be boosted. She can end up reflecting 75% damage back to the enemy if she's lucky, if she gets attacked. So it's purely that.
It's very luck-based. Okay, let's just go combat advancement. Just infantry attack.
Yeah, a max it's 30%. That's pretty solid. I say 2.
Motivation limit by 600%. 600. No, she gives flat 600. When I look
A
at
flat. Oh, a flat 600.
if you go to details all the way down, you see motivation limit. It says commander bonus 600, research bonus 4,630, and initial stats 3,000.
Well, 600. Yeah, that's respectable. I think just for that she gets a. That can be an extra attack on a level 1. That's a 2. Yeah, I was trying to find somewhere else to put her points, but because of the wall defense, we have to give her a 2. Like, I refuse to give someone who's wall defense a 3 in city advancement. I refuse.
Okay. She wants food as well, and she's like the reverse of. How you call Russell? 2 combat rates, 3 command. That's not much.
Yeah, so we have to give her a 2 there, don't we?
No, 1.
No, because she has combat rate. Food isn't that rare. I think give her a 2 for friendship. Okay. We can say it's a low 2, but even so, we're only looking at 12, 13, 14 points.
The problem is we give Russell 2 as well, but...
Yeah, but Russell's a more higher 2, she's a low 2. Because it's 5 points, but it's points you want.
Okay.
And think overall, we're looking at 14. That's a low score.
It happens. You can't change it. You can't squeeze out things that are not true.
Next up, we have Jon Snow. First of all, Lord Commander's charge. Jon Snow rides at the head of the spear, launching spear. He's infantry commander. He's not even a cavalry.
No,
I think
Jon Snow rides at the head of the spear. Don't they mean something else with spear? Is that possible? Charge.
Well, it's sort of like a formation, yes, but it says rides, as in cavalry, but he's infantry.
How do you manage?
He's riding as an infantry at the head of a spear.
Nice. Okay. Launching 2 attacks against targets in a cone area and dealing 5,768 damage per attack. So just 1,140 or so.
Yeah, but the cone area still hits quite a few. Like, that's already double what Sandor does, and he's not even supposed to be a damage dealer.
Nice.
Yeah. Next up, we have Watchers of the Wall. Their oath sustains a night watch beyond the limits of ordinary men. 15% chance that can be buffed by strategy, because it's green, of recovering 5,700 health after suffering a lethal hit. Now, while this doesn't proc a lot, this can be fairly substantial, as sometimes what you're relying on is your troops' abilities in order to wipe a front line. If they come back, and especially with such a high defense, they have another chance to be healed, they have another chance, and you're going to have to wait for basically a whole round of combat for your abilities to activate again, if you get unlucky. Now, it's only 15% chance granted. It can be boosted to about 20%, but not more than that. So it's not reliable, but when it does happen, oh boy, are you salty.
Yeah. Shield of the Kingdom looks rather weak to me.
It is, rather. It's not prowess or command, it's the base, and it procs 1,300 to defense and attack every 7 attacks. It's active basically about half the time. It's a little bonus. It's not great.
Alright.
And then Night's Watch Oath adds 150 to command. Already his command's one of the highest in the game. Not quite as high as Seg, but his attack is an awful lot better. But that little bit extra command means he has a very high defense and health.
Okay, overall, he's super tanky, but his skills are really weaker than I would expect.
Yeah, they're limited. There's no buff, there's no stun, there's no crowd control, there's no synergy. But he is a really good infantry tank that does deal damage. So for that alone, I think Weirwood 3, Training Grounds 4.
Whoa. I would go Weirwood 2 because he doesn't bring any synergy, what you said yourself. And Training Grounds, I am willing to go with 4 because you need the high defense.
Okay, 2-4. That works.
Rebel Leaders, I wouldn't bring.
It's actually quite silly because I'm looking at Watchers on the Wall. I'm thinking if that was 100% chance to proc, that would easily put him at a 3-5 or something.
Wait, wouldn't he be unkillable then?
No, you want to put a cooldown. Like 100% chance activates every 15 seconds or something.
Okay.
But yeah.
Rebel Leaders 1, damage output 1.
No. Damage output is more than 1. His prowess is 1,500. And his cone attack does deal 10,000, which is more than others. Let's just use that as an example. The prowess of 1,500 is... I'm just trying to find the commander. Or at least the equivalent, if it were. A prowess of 1,500 is equivalent to a Barrett Purple.
6,000 attack.
It's nearly the same as Obin's base attack, which is nothing to scoff at. And he can be used for tank rebel leaders because of his damage. I think it's a 2/2. He has the same base attack as, say, Obin, without the insane bonuses, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't use Obin for that. Okay, here's a base attack of 6,000, which is not that bad. 6,500 maybe.
Yeah.
And gold.
Don't forget he gets 1,000 extra because of his ability. Admittedly, it's only procced half the time, but that is 7,000 at gold.
I mean, you have too many infantry commands. I would go 1/2.
1/2? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see that, because we've got too many infantry commanders, can't run him in the formation, because your tank is already occupied by Tyrion when you're doing infantry. You've already got Jaina because she's just too good with abilities. As for support, you haven't really got much there.
0/0.
Yeah, 0/0.
I'm sure because of his high tanks, I would give him 2 for skills, but not more. I think he's lacking. I like Watchers of the Wall.
2. Just for the uniqueness of coming back to life. Then we got 505 again.
Okay, we're done with this Okay, this is really disappointing to me. I really didn't... It's only going to be 21. I really thought he would sky higher. Scare. Scare to score as well.
It's the waste skills again.
Okay, Margaery TYRELL, what we're gonna say about her? A lot. Shall we not?
Okay, I don't think it's quite up to another rant commander. We're going to have to put one of the episodes as the episode where Fringlish loses it. But this isn't far off. First of all, the Beloved Queen. Warriors who fight under the banner of Queen Margaery are fearless. Grants a 20,000 point damage reduction to all allies for 7 seconds. And that's every time her skill procs.
And it procs a lot. It's fast.
It procs a lot, yeah. So you're looking twice, maybe 3 times a battle, and 20,000 point damage reduction. Now, sure, it's not tempered by defense, so it's burnt away quickly, but that's still an extra 60,000 hit points per person, because it hits everybody. No need for targeting. The poised noble, educated by her grandmother, the Queen of Thorns, from an early age, Margaery is unshakable in any situation. You know, let's grant an extra 10,000 point damage reduction to all allies for 15 seconds.
And that's really strong because this way you make sure that everybody has a much higher chance to get their skills off or anything at the start of the battle.
But that's the thing, the Poisoned Noble, the fact that you have an extra point damage reduction doesn't impact might recovery for those taking attacks. But the Poised Noble procs before you get enough might for Beloved Queen. Because Poised Noble activates at the start for 15 seconds at the start of battle. So your troops are invulnerable for the first second or two, which gives you a second or two in advance of the enemy.
Yep.
And then Beloved Queen procs, which gives you an extra 20,000. So it's an insane combination of skills, just the synergy between them.
I think they always said she was so overpowered in the Rebel Legion, and I didn't understand that because I was checking her skills.
Okay, the main thing is there's Favour of the Rose. Margaery bolsters morale and inspires loyalty with her kindness towards small folk and soldiers. Every 2 attacks, 3 random allies recover 200 might. 200 might is half the might bar for most people.
Yeah, let's talk about the might bar. How much is the might bar, and what is determining the length of the might bar?
I have no idea, to be honest. I just noticed that Varys removes 200 might, and you see the might bar nearly wiped, or at least reduced an awful lot.
Yeah.
So the fact that you gain 200, that means it will nearly fill a might bar of your allies. And that's every 2 attacks.
Yes, and Lutzgrain even the 600. That doesn't change, that number.
But I've played with Varys, as we can see. And then we have Daughter of Highgarden, which It's the last ability. You gain 450 to strategy. Now, what this does is it basically makes Margaery Tyrell skills a third better. So you're looking at Beloved Queen being 28,000. You're looking at Poised Noble being 13,000. You're looking at Favor of the Rose being 260 might, which would be enough to fill the bar. So the main thing is she makes everybody's skills proc an awful lot quicker. You could probably say that the skill speed for your entire army will be doubled with Margaery in the formation.
Yeah.
So pair that with some extremely high burst skills, like strange it seems, a free-to-play player, Aslan. His Sandstrike action launches 3 attacks, each dealing 12,000 damage plus extra damage, etc., etc. So you're talking a 30,000 burst. With Margaery, instead of doing the 30,000, you're looking at 60,000 because the skills activate twice.
Okay, so the first two I want to just push them to 5 because she can easily replace a healer.
It's 30,000 plus damage protection. Most commanders don't even have 30,000. It doubles everybody's base health, and then you don't even need to heal. So yeah, Werewood 5, Training Grounds 5, easily. Just the other abilities. Rebel leaders.
And I don't want to go at least not more than 2. Because
Not more than 2, why?
She has no damage from herself. She might make sure...
The combat's too short, really. I think that's the problem with Rebel Leaders. I would say 3, to be honest, because it procs the skills a lot more. No, but base attack is one of the biggest buffs. And she doesn't actually buff anyway. Yeah, 2's fine. 2 is average.
Yeah.
Damage output herself, very low.
So 1. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's only saving grace.
3,000 stack. Can we talk about the fact what we did to Zack? I was a bit disappointed about that. It didn't make sense. We gave him 0 for damage output and Rebel Leaders, even though we gave him 0, even though his attack is 4,800. If we can give one person 0, then why don't we give her 0?
Yeah, let's give her 0 for damage output.
And I think we did make a mistake there. That was one of our first commands, of course. And we should have given him 1 on both, I think.
Yeah, we got 0 in damage output because it's really, really low. Support 5.
Support is 5.
Yeah, crowd control 0.
So skills, I should go 4, 5.
Yeah, go for 4 because one of them, the strategy buff, is a little bit wasted. She does have an insane skill, but another one's sort of a synergy. It's one-dimensional. Like it helps your troops to stay alive. It's not a buff. It's not. It can be done other ways. So 4, yeah.
Okay. Combat advancement, research speed 25. Well, that's not combat.
No, but total health and total attack, which are the 2 main ones, plus 15%. We're talking 3 here at least.
Yeah, let's do that.
3 for combat, 2 for city. 5 overall. Perfectly respectable. And now friendship.
I have her at 10, but that's because I only have her at grey. She gives 11, 4 aptitude, 5 finance, and 2 command. And she uses jewelry. Now,
jewelry is one of the easiest ones.
Yeah, so I would give her 2 points because she used jewelry, because I'm only thinking that in... How is she called? Melisandre?
Yeah.
And plus she can boost her better than Jean, and probably as a free-to-play as well. But you're gonna have Melisandre if you have Margaery. Let's just put it at that. So that doesn't count. So I would 11 points, but all in bad categories. I would give her 2.
Just for the 11 points based on the fact it's jewelry, I'd like to give her 3.
But then we shall give her 3. Okay, that's an overall of 15, 20, 24, 26, 29.
Is that Lena?
It is Lena.
Yeah, I don't have her. That would explain why I just haven't noticed her name.
No, I noticed it when I was making the overlay,
Ooh.
and I was like, it actually sounds a lot better, Lina. Even though I can't really utilize her yet anywhere in the. I don't know what I have to do with her. I don't know where to put her, but maybe we can shed some light on that right now by looking at her skills. Price of Beauty. A beguiling visage is both a blessing and a curse, dealing 9,000 damage to the target in a straight line. You can see her probably with gold. I have a purple.
Yeah, 9,900. It's straight line. Her prowess isn't great at the base. It's a basic attack. That'll maybe get her 2, maybe 1 point. Her prowess isn't high. Even the toughest warrior cannot resist her beauty. Incoming attacks have a 30% chance of reducing target's attack by 2,700. Triggers once every 15 seconds.
It's very bad, actually.
Yeah, it's the 30% chance it can trigger twice a battle. It's only 2,000 attack. Like, you get that same bonus by having Tyrion in it. It's not great. Lyanna knows how to protect herself in the midst of political intrigue, grants 13,000 damage reduction for 5 seconds when attacked by skills, and restores 1,600 health. Okay, the health regeneration is pretty. Ignore it.
Again, every
little helps. But grant the 13,000 damage reduction for 5 seconds when attacked by skills means you find it difficult to chain skills and one-shot her. Like, she has like a 5-second immunity. It doesn't seem like there's a proc, but it doesn't happen before the skill. So she takes the skill damage, then she doesn't take any attack damage. Then she takes the skill damage again, she doesn't take any attack damage, and so on. So she misses out on an awful lot of attack damage, but not all of it. She has a fairly weak defense. And then the Mind Reader adds 150 to strategy. Why would you add 150 to strategy to someone who already has 1,200?
You know, the problem is, she is meant to frontline, but she doesn't. Well, all her skills are aimed to actually make her survive because her base defense is pretty low, her base health is pretty low, and she doesn't bring anything extra to the fight. I find her a very bleak, pale, weak character.
It has to be a 1 in the Werewood, 1 in the training grounds, 1 in the Rebel Leaders, 1 in the damage output.
She doesn't bring any support.
0 in the support. 1 in the crowd control. 1 in skills.
I would almost push her to 0 in skills because we have to do it one time. Nothing works for her. All her skills do is try to make her survive.
We can't give her less than Robert. And she does do a 9,000 damage in a straight line. Okay. And the damage reduction does technically work somewhat.
Cavalry health, defense, and attack 30%.
Now, if we were doing Awakening in this, I would definitely give her a 5. But because it's only one troop type, while it's very good for cavalry formations, it lacks flexibility and doesn't help buff a second row, so I think 4.
Okay, 4 it is.
City advancement 0. She's a niche commander for the perfect cavalry army. That's all.
7 overall quality, 3 in finance, 4 in leadership. That will give her an extra point. I'll put her on 2.
Well, that easily puts her on 2. What item?
Jewelry.
So that's not rare, is it?
No, not for. I think 2 is fair.
An easy 2, yeah. His abilities. Hear Me Roar adds 2,000 attack to all allies for 9 seconds, which is bloody decent, actually.
Yeah, but it's decent, yes. Nothing exceptional.
Yeah, no, it's not exceptional, but if you think about it overall, he is adding 10,000 attack, which isn't bad. And 9 seconds is often enough for him to get his skill off again. Tyrion uses insight to help allies plan for battle, adding 42 strategy to 2 of his allies, with the highest might every 8 seconds. So it adds strategy. Now, that's not a huge amount of strategy, but it automatically procs on the hero that's just about to use his ability. So it's a very intelligent buff, that it always hits the people about to use their ability, so it buffs them there. He's really good to have with tanks, because that alone can increase it by nearly 25%, their abilities. Tyrion in a Courage faces enemies without fear, deals 5,000 extra damage to the target every 8 attacks, so it's a bit of extra damage. It's not a lot, to be honest. And then finally, Hand of the Queen, which adds 45, I think it's like 52 or 48 at max, to all attributes for all allies. 45 attribute to all allies it's not a lot. Like
It's
his
not-
main ability comes from Hear Me Roar. Maybe in a very low stat party he could be useful.
Yeah, I
Um,
have trouble. I really have trouble. If I have to choose between Jean and Tyrion, I mean, even his hear me roar is just like a baby chirping.
He does, at my current level, with the commanders I use, slightly beat out Jana when it comes to rebel leaders, which are spearmen.
Yeah.
Because I can use him as a tank instead of Jana, and then I can front load all my infantry damage.
Yes, his advantage is a little bit that he is a decent at defense, but nothing that makes him a real tank. So he's going to need some extra support to stay alive.
Werewood, I would say 2, yeah.
Training ground.
Surprisingly, I'd say probably the same for the training grounds.
Yeah, I would almost go 1.
Maybe just... Yeah, no, the reason I go 2 is because unlike others, his skills are... Like, they never miss his skills. It's either all allies, increased to the highest might, deals the damage and attribute to all allies. His skills never miss or drop off. He's perfectly average. There are always better people in the training grounds to put. But I've used him to such an effect quite regularly when there's a male buff or something, or an infantry commander buff. I've used him quite well.
I'm just worried about switching any damage dealer out for him.
Yeah, no, but what I've done before, actually, it might seem a bit stupid with you, but I've run him as a tank in the front row, with the expectation that he will die first, and therefore change the positioning of the units. I've used him to some extent there. Now, he doesn't actually die that quickly, so he can survive for a bit.
Yeah, but the good thing is, lately you have formations that have Margaery, that have Simon, and often you find that one flank of the enemy has no damage output.
Yeah, especially if they're relying on, say, Margaery or something, because she's spear. Like, I put Tyrion in front of that, it gives me a stat boost, it gives me a little bit more DPS, it gives me a bit more flexibility, and the extra 10,000 attacks split across the allies brings your tanks, like the 2,000 attack to your damage dealer doesn't change that much, but the extra 2,000 attack to your tanks increases it by a third, which is a fairly substantial, because it brings it from low tank to medium fighter. Rebel leaders, I'd like to give him 3 there. He's not essential in every formation, but on spear formations, he's really, really good.
I would almost push him to 2, but...
Yeah, damage output, although, is a 1. There's no way around that. Damage output is a 1. Support...
at attack, at attributes... It's all a bit weak.
It is all a bit weak, but there's a lot of them, so maybe 3?
Yeah, 3. He has 3 above, so he gets 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, the first one is probably the best, with a 2,000 attack, but even that's a little... meh.
Crowd control 0. Sorry.
Yep, crowd control 0. Skills...
I think he comes a bit short, and literally,
yeah,
we can use the joke there.
Yeah, skills, I think, so much potential. Just, if there's a little bit better, he would be amazing, but I think maybe a 2 for... Yeah, 2 for skills.
2 for the potential. Okay, combat advancements. Well, total attack, total defense.
Defense, that's worth a 3, I think, if I remember our rating.
Yeah. City advancements, research, really high though, 40%.
It is, yeah. I'm wondering, because the research at 30 is worth 2 points.
Let's give him 3.
Let's give him 3 there. I think it's going to be one of the only commanders with advancement more than 5 in total. Right. Okay, for friendship. Ale. I think he's one of your best Ale commanders you can ever get.
Yep. He gets
in
12
terms
points.
Of stars.
Problem is, he only gives 2 commander rate and 5 aptitude finance. So perfect for gold farm.
Perfect for a gold farm. Perfect for even 0 castles, because you're looking for the extra gold to rebuild or the speed ups. As long as you're building, he's useful. So
3.
He's something you can get. With the overall quality of 12, I really want to give him a 4.
No, not without any combat rate or leadership.
Well, it depends on your... The thing is, it depends on your focus. It is 12 overall. It's 5 aptitude and 5 finance. It's extremely good for economic castles. He's one of my favourite commanders because I know I'm not going to fight on the combat rate. Now, while it's annoying that he doesn't have something like leadership, I know you're going to fight me on this, and you're going to want him to keep down to 3. So, fuck it, we'll have a 3.
No, we'll leave him with 22 points.
Yeah, he's a good commander.